welcome to this Tuesday, June 17th, 2025, business meeting agenda of the Oyster Bay East Norwich Board of Education. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Can everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Santos, correspondence?
All correspondence was via email. Grace survey, budget vote, 5:20, 5:31. Monica Altamirano regarding track and field championship. 6/1/2025. Marissa Lewis regarding track and field JV and lax. 6/2 and 6/10, and 6/14 and 6/16 were from Heather Nadalny regarding idea hearing and notice of claim. On 6/10, Tom Winhausen follow up on open questions. On 6/17, Tom Winhausen follow up on open questions. And on 6/16, Richard Kermans regarding notice of record preservation.
Thank you, Ms. Santos. Now turn it over to Dr. Yanni for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Ms. Kowalski. Good evening, everybody. Yesterday was the last day for our seniors, and every time when is the last day, it's always a very sad day to let them go, but they had a wonderful day, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank the PTA for donating the lunch. Everybody had a great time, and for the clap out at the end of the day was wonderful. So thank you to the PTA. Take so much pride in all the work that our students do with the support of our staff to make the school an incredible place to work and learn. My main goal is to promote all the good work that goes in our district, so everybody knows the amazing children that we have. Last week we had a new publication that shows the wonderful accomplishments of our students. We post that on the website as shows all the wonderful work that our students and staff did over the past couple of years. So if you have an opportunity to go on the website, and please share with family and friends. And it's really impressive, and very, very proud of my staff, the administrators, the teachers, everybody for the wonderful work that they do. Beginning in next year, which is 25-26, we will be expanding the Atlantis program. The Atlantis program is a program, an enrichment program that we have at Vernon, and is at 4 to 6, goes 4th to 6th grade. We're going to extend that program at the high school, and it's going to be called Atlantis 7 Research. The course will introduce students to the process of selecting and investigating meaningful research topics with a focus on civic improvement and scientific inquiry. The course will emphasize the development of foundational research skills that prepare students for the high school, college, and academic competitions. Students will learn to craft core claims and thesis statement supported by empirical evidence gathered from diverse multimedia sources, both print and digital. Building on this foundational skills, students will explore a topic of personal interest, including opportunity to engage in science research alignment with current issues and potential solutions. They will learn how to design, conduct a research project, present, analyze, and explain their knowledge base. The course will also include guidance on presenting their findings effectively and prepare for participation in academic competitions such as science fair and research symposium. We're very excited about this opportunity for students. Our goal is for our students to compete at the national level. We have the resource, we have the staff, we have the teachers, but we also have the greatest component, which is the caliber of students that can compete at the national level. So we're very proud of them. When you look at in terms of the athletic, Oyster Bay sent this past weekend a record number of athletes to the New York State Championship this past weekend. We had 22 students, and myself and Miss McEntee, we took a ride on Saturday to cheer on the students. And it was impressive to see, to look around in some of the other places that I've been in. Every school had 1 or 2 or 3 students, and to have 22 students was quite impressive. So I was very proud of all of them. I was proud of the students. I was proud to be a Oyster Bay Superintendent of Schools. So we had students competed in a 2-day championship. They were competing under the rain in crazy conditions, but it was like a sunny day for them. It was quite impressive. So I just mentioned a couple of the students. We have Liana Tamarano, which is here with us. She plays, and this is New York State Championship, so we're not talking about 1 or 2 schools, we're talking about the entire New York State. So, Liana Tamarano, Liana, you want to stand for everybody? Liana plays second in our heat for the girls 200-meter steeplechase. We have Emmeline Zeller. I don't know if Emily's here. Emmeline Zeller placed 8th in our heat in the 1500 meter. We have Olivia Garcia. I don't know if Olivia's here. Olivia Garcia finished 11 in the discus throw. Zach Green, I don't see Zach, but he placed 12th in the heat in the 1600 meter. And Austin Escatino finished 9th in the triple jump. I am very proud. We are so proud. Amazing work. Keep up the great work. So at this point, I would like to invite to the podium Ms. Argument for the students' presentation with Mr. Perdue.
Good evening. Thank you all for giving us the opportunity to celebrate a group of outstanding young scholars. 15 exceptional students who have all achieved recognition at the national level in the study of French and Spanish languages. Tonight, we applaud their success in the National French and National Spanish exams. These are prestigious assessments that measure not only linguistic competence and proficiency, but also cultural understanding, language content, and a dedication to learning. These exams are taken by thousands of students across the country, and earning a gold, silver, or bronze medal is a mark of excellence. To earn any of these medals indicates that you are in the top 25% of all test takers. This year, over 47,000 students nationwide participated in the National French exam, which is sponsored by the American Association of Teachers of French. Out of more than 47,000 students, nearly a quarter achieved any sort of medal across all levels. 5 of the very best French students in the country attend Oyster Bay High School. Please join me in congratulating bronze medalists who placed in the top 25% nationally. Isadora Acronero, Samuel Brennan, Danny Yanis Mejia scored in the top 15% nationally with a silver medal. Diana Lindstrom scored in the top 25% with a bronze medal. Isadora. Diana. Okay. And Daniela Zavala-Chicas. Spanish ones next. Okay, now for our National Spanish exam medalists. Over 80,000 students nationwide participated in the National Spanish exam, which is sponsored by the American Association of Teachers of Spanish and Portuguese. 10 of the nation's best students attend Oyster Bay High School. Please join me in congratulating. Bronze medal in level 1, Brian Contijo. Dustin Nessus. And Hector Satasuji. In level 2, we had 3 winners. Bronze medalist Jeffrey Romero and Julia Torres. And our silver medalist, Liana Altamirano. In level 3, we had 4 winners. Bronze medalist Caitlin Diaz. Silver medalist Lionel Escorto. Ari Gupta. And William Noble. So I just want to take a moment to thank all the teachers who supported these students, Mr. Lavallee, Ms. Limmer, Ms. Luciano, Ms. Luzzi, and Ms. Monroy. And I also want to thank Mr. Pardue, who worked with our teachers on this project. Thank you all for your passion and dedication, and congratulations to all of our students. We're incredibly proud of you.
This is also a special time of the year when we have to say goodbye not only to our seniors but to some of our board members and our staff. So this evening, Mr. Lorita, you want to come up? This evening we have the honor of celebrating a member of our board education, Joe Lorita, who has dedicated his time for the students and for this community for the 24-25 school year. Mr. Lorita has played an important role in shaping the educational landscape of our district. The advocacy and leadership he provided for our students, staff, and community has been remarkable. Together with the rest of the board, he has ensured that our schools remain focused on the vision of empowering all students to achieve excellence. Mr. Lorita has consistently supported initiatives and ideas that I have presented to the board in order to enrich our educational program and foster a positive learning environment for all students. To commemorate his service, we have prepared a small token of appreciation, a plaque for you, Joe. Thank you for your service. Okay, it is my distinct honor this evening to celebrate a group of remarkable educators and staff members who are embarking on their well-deserved retirement. These individuals represent decades of dedication, passion, and expertise within the Oyster Bay, East Norwich Central School District. Tonight, we honor their incredible careers and express a profound gratitude for their service. So the first person that I'm going to ask to come up is Matthew Brown. Mr. Brown, for nearly 3 decades, has been instrumental in supporting our students as a social worker at Oyster Bay High School. He has been there to support our students and in some cases, even their parents. In his office, Right, sometimes. And the superintendent, sometimes. This office, complete with beloved turtles, we gotta figure out where they go. They come with you, I guess. They're home. Okay, they made it home already. Has always been a welcoming and unique space, offering a sense of calm for those who need it the most. Matt has always been there to support all, not just the students, which reflect his commitment to make the world a better place. Matt's consistent support, his unique way of connecting with students, and his dedication to important social issues have created a lasting legacy within our community, and it will be deeply missed. Remember seeing your car early morning, late at night, it's always there. We congratulate you on the wonderful career and wish you all the best for the next chapter in your life. Thank you so much. Miss Karen Crowley, want to come up? It's okay, we got time. The internet is not working, so we have to try and paste later on to make a shorter meeting.
How are you?
Miss Karen Crowley is an accomplished artist and educator. Is retiring after an exceptional career teaching art, leaving a lasting impact on our school district. She has shared a deep knowledge and passion with a wide range of learners, from elementary students at Vernon to the high school, teaching a lot of different classes. I tell you the resume, it was quite impressive. Ms. Crowley founded the district's first National Junior Honor Society and fostered a meaningful partnership with, maybe I'm not pronouncing his name right, but Audubon, New York. Audubon, New York, through the Share the Shore initiative, connecting curriculum with community and real world issues. I looked it up, it's quite impressive the work that they do. A master of a craft, a generous mentor, and a dedicated community member who modeled lifelong learning, Ms. Crowley's legacy of artistic excellence and environmental advocacy will continue to inspire. You will be missed. I remember all the games that you attended, and you're always there, and I always had a tremendous pleasure to come and visit you and your students in your class. And every time I look out of my office and you post the artwork, it's always a pleasure for me to see that wonderful work that you inspire students to do. So congratulations, wish you all the best. Ms. Brenda Chicas. After an incredible 30 years of shaping young minds and touching countless lives, Ms. Brenda Chicas is retiring from our school district. As a beloved fourth grade teacher at Vernon, this past few years, she brought warmth, humor, and a deep passion for learning into a classroom every single day. I always admire your smile. There's not a day that I see you not smiling. Generations of students have benefited from our dedication and the positive learning environment she consistently created. Her commitment extended beyond the classroom to her involvement as a great advisor, a mentor, curriculum writing, which I know you did a great work, and further enriching our school community. You will definitely be missed in the Hall of Vernon, but I am grateful for all the work that you have done over the years. We wish you all the best and continued success in the next level. Roseanne Rehill, Ms. Davison. For an incredible 40 years, Roseanne, affectionately known to children as Miss Davison, served as the cherished librarian at Theodore Roosevelt Elementary School. She designed a library program and created traditions beloved by generations. She envisioned a beautiful and inviting space with reading nooks and an amphitheater. Amphitheater. Similar to Italian. For story time that has instilled a love of books in the countless students and even some current staff members. Readers' theaters have been my favorite since I came over here. I never had it before, and I think it's a wonderful opportunity for the students to showcase their work and present in public. So truly a special moment for the parents to see and for all the work that they do working with the other staff members. Ms. Davison, adored by parents and staff, she's so kind, completely in tune with the needs of young children. She made the library a safe haven, fostering a love of reading in our youngest students. We congratulate you for the wonderful work that you did and wish you all the best in the next level. Ms. Jennifer Spilates. After 11 years of dedicated service as an AIS elementary and special education teacher at Vernon, Ms. Jennifer Spilates is retiring. Throughout her entire time with us, she has been a tireless advocate for students, always going above and beyond to create a classroom environment where every student will learn. Ms. Spilates has touched the lives of so many students, colleagues, and families, and her positive impact will be felt for years to come. Expanding our dedication to extended school day program, which has been incredible, all the work that you have done to support our students after school, and supporting students during the fall musical, which is something that definitely the students will miss you, showcases a commitment to students' well-being in multiple facets of school life. We congratulate you on all the work that you have done and wish you all the best in the next level. Edward John Young. John. After 28 years of inspiring and educating students, Mr. Young is retiring from his role as an elementary teacher at Vernon in Oyster Bay, East Norwich. Known for his dedication, enthusiasm, and passion for teaching, he has been a steady and influential presence in the classroom. His ability to connect with students, encourage their growth, and foster a love for learning has made a lasting impact on countless individuals. Throughout his tenure, he has served as a mentor, established his 6th grade social studies cumulative project, and remained consistent supporter at concert and after-school event. We'll definitely miss you having at the school. I love to visit your classroom all the time and how you connect with students, so you're definitely going to be missed. Congratulations. Paula Norton. As we celebrate Paula Norton's retirement after 28 years of service, the title of Mom of the School truly resonates, reflecting her incredible nurturing presence for students and staff and the superintendent, Oyster Bay. Paula was always ready with a freshly baked treat, a wealth of knowledge on any imaginable topic that ranged from gardening all the way to triathlon. You gave me some. For the past decades, she has been an instrumental coach in both our field hockey and spring track and field program, laying a crucial foundation for our 7th and 8th graders. Paula's nurturing spirit, boundless knowledge, dedication to our students and programs, and our unique ability to be both a refined lady and an adventurous spirit would be deeply missed. Paula, I'm definitely going to miss you. I hope you stay in touch, come to visit. I know you have wonderful plans to cruise the world on the water, but we're going to miss you a lot. Congratulations. That's an awesome question. Before we take a picture, I'd also like to congratulate some of our staff members who couldn't be here tonight and thank them for their service to our community. Deborah Schultz, John Andriccio, and Ed Herrera. So let's take a picture together now.
So the retirees don't just stop there. As we all know, as our teachers are here every day, so are all many of our non-instructional staff that work behind the scenes tirelessly every day to make sure the students have what they need. Tonight, I am very proud to recognize two of our non-instructional staff members who are also retiring. So first, I would like to start with John. You want to come up, John Millers? So I have the pleasure of recognizing and celebrating John tonight. He's retiring nearly after 13 years of dedicated service to the district. Over the years, John has worked both at Vernon and Roosevelt schools, but he made his lasting mark during his time at Roosevelt as a daytime custodian. John is known for a strong work ethic, keeping the building in top condition, always clean, well-maintained, and ready to welcome our students, staff, and families. He knows the corner of the building, every corner of the building, inside and out, and his attention to detail ensured that everything ran smoothly, day in and day out. John's role was much more than maintaining the building. He was an integral part of the school community, a familiar and trusted face to families. John took safety seriously and made sure that the bus arrival and dismissal were handled with care and precision. And as Ms. Small said, no one gets past in the parking lot at the right time. Yes, not even the superintendent. Beyond his professionalism, John is a friend to all at Roosevelt. His kindness, consistency, pride in his work has left a lasting impression, and he will deeply be missed by students, staff, families, and all of us alike. Congratulations. All right, Mr. Andy Testa, come on up. Over 20 years, Andy began his career in 2004 as a cleaner, quickly promoted to custodian, and has recently been appointed as a head custodian at Theodore Royal High School. Although I've only known Andy for a short 4 years, I am proud to recognize and celebrate his 20 years of service. Throughout his career, Andy consistently went above and beyond for our students, families, and the entire community. His attention to detail was unmatched. Thanks to his eagle eye, Roosevelt was always clean, orderly, and well cared for. But Andy's impact extended far beyond just his one building. His expertise and support has touched Vernon, the high school, administration building. He has played a key role in maintaining and improving spaces across the district. Andy has a true gift for fixing anything that came his way. It often seemed like there's nothing he can do. Whether it was repairing wiring, assembling counters, in record time, building walls, hiding wiring, or even fixes in this very room, which you may not even realize. Andy handled this task with skill and efficiency. Most importantly, Andy was exceptional with people. The custodians and cleaners he supervised admired him and works hard under his leadership. Staff and parents alike knew they could count on him for help with anything. He always responded with patience and kindness. He had a gentle way with our youngest students and took the time to remember the details of people's lives, helping create a warm family atmosphere that Roosevelt is known for. Although he is retiring, he is lucky enough to stay on with us since we didn't want to let him go part-time for now. As you enjoy your retirement, I am so happy to say that you're still going to be hanging around here for a couple hours. Congratulations, Andy. And as Dr. Yanni said, although they couldn't be here tonight for several reasons, I do want to acknowledge 4 other non-instructional staff members that are retiring after several years. In the clerical unit, we have Diane Seck and Karen DiMartino, and in the facilities unit, we have Edward Vargas and John Jansen. Congratulations to them as well.
So at this point, if the retirees would like to go home and celebrate, it's a good time to go. And if you want to stay for the cell phone policy, you can sunset. That's arrogant, nothing against you. So I'd like to invite to the podium Dr. Harrigan, who has been working on the committee for these new policy, new phone policy. Dr. Harrigan.
Thank you, Gianni, and Dr. Gianni, and thank you to the Board of Education for giving me a few moments. So I think as we've been hearing about for quite some time in New York State, a new law coming for the upcoming school year having to do with internet-enabled device for students throughout the school day. Most commonly, we are thinking about smartphones when we think of this new law. And although most of the provisions and requirements for the new policy come straight from the law, there were a lot of things that needed to be discussed. So I thank Dr. Yanni for offering to allow me to chair a committee. So our committee members, you can see them in the presentation, included students, teachers, school psychologists, administrators, and we came together on June 11th to review the policy, to review some of the research, and to talk about and think about suggestions we could make to the Board of Education for the policy specifically, but also a robust conversation with our principals about the rollout and how we put this in place in a positive way. So the main facets is a restriction of non-school issued internet-enabled devices on school grounds for the entire day. And that's really been come to be known as bell to bell. So the idea is from the time students arrive in school starts until the end of the day, they do not have access. There are some limited acceptable uses that we'll talk about, and specifically important for the Board of Education, we must adopt a written policy by August 1st, 2025. So this Education Law 2803 came apart as part of the budget plan, which is unusual across the country, but not in New York State for the governor to include non-budgetary items in the budget bill. And we talked on the committee in some detail about the rationale and why many folks think this is a really good idea, and for real harms that we're seeing in kids, not only across New York State, across the country, but really around the world. from a phone-based childhood is sleep deprivation, social deprivation, addiction to their devices, and many of adults probably feel that sometimes themselves, and attention fragmentation. And this work many of the work and foundational conversations came out of the book The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt, and earlier works by Jeannie Twang, a book called iGen, really first started to bring to light some of the things that were happening during this smartphone era in terms of student mental health. So one of the probably most common questions is why a ban that goes bell to bell, and why, if there are individual concerns, why can't an individual student just not have a smartphone? And the research and some of what the Dr. Haidt and others have presented, phones as experience blockers, doing it only during the school day doesn't remove the temptation to look. We'll notice sometimes as educators, kids not using their cell phones at all during the class, but as soon as there's a downtime, as soon as that moment, we see them reaching for them. And if one or two students, based on parent decisions, aren't carrying their phones, if the idea that they'd be missing out from others, creating more of a social outcast type of a scenario. So that's the kind of the foundational rationale for a bell-to-bell ban for all students during the school day. And so, like I mentioned, internet-enabled devices. Most commonly, we talk about smartphones, but it would also be tablets, laptops, not those provided by the school, and many of our students, even some of our very younger students, smart watches as well, and anything that can connect to the internet. So it's not talking about district devices, of course, and it's not talking about like a traditional cellular phone, something that doesn't connect to the internet. The school day means the entirety of the day, not just during class. So during instructional time, during non-instructional time, during passing times, during lunch, and school grounds is defined in the law, but basically it's what you think it is. It's the boundaries of the school facility. The policy required us to think about it, and we have recommendations in terms of how a parent can contact a student during the day, should they need to. It's been a long time, I think, since some of us couldn't reach our kids instantly, and vice versa. And also, there must be a way for a phone or any other device to be stored and locked during the school day, and that can include the student lockers. We'll also have to, beginning in September of 2026, report out on issues of non-compliance and any discipline for students for infractions related to cell phone use, smartphone use rather, and particularly noted in the law, a student may not be suspended from school if the sole grounds for this suspension is a violation of this policy. So a child cannot be suspended for using their smartphone alone. So other items to consider that we talked about, should we be talking about one policy for all our schools, or differences if we're talking about Roosevelt with our pre-K to second graders, Vernon 3rd to 6th, and also, of course, our middle school, high school. We talked about student lockers, phone pouches. I shared with the committee that although the media has announced $13.5 million in funding, no details have been provided to school districts, so we don't know if or what any allocation comes to Oyster Bay. These are just some of the examples of the things we talked about. Of course, student lockers we've all seen before, but office lockers and classroom lockers for phones, as well as looking at the pouches, which many school districts in our area have utilized in recent years. We also talked about who could authorize use. The law says the district may allow a teacher or principal. We talked a little about non-compliance and also replacement behaviors and activities for students. And we had some conversation and some guidance from our school psychologist about de-escalation techniques for staff so that this new law doesn't create conflicts between staff and students. So basically our recommendations as a committee was at Roosevelt to keep things the way they are today, which is that Kids are required to leave personal internet-enabled and other devices at home. And the sole exception, and it really is an important one, there are students all across New York State and here as well who use internet-enabled devices to monitor their glucose levels. So that's a really important technological feature. And we don't believe it's one we can replace with our own devices, and it allows school nurse, student, and parents to communicate and keep kids' health and safety. At Vernon, again, for particularly our younger students at Vernon, the expectation would be the same, that they would leave internet-enabled devices at home, exception for medical needs. There was a conversation about kids who might be walking to the bus stop, kids who might be staying after, kids who are preparing for middle school, that maybe we wanted a different type of a recommendation for our 6th graders. They do have lockers, just like in the middle school and high school, but the committee felt that was too much temptation for a student. If the only locking thing was a chance for a student to just go there themselves, it could be a distraction and also create lost time. So we were looking for a different type of a product for our 6th graders. And we thought that a good price point and something reasonable with older elementary school, kind of soon-to-be middle school students, was a locking device within each classroom, much cheaper than an individual pouch per student, and consistent with students who start and end the day in the same classroom and have time to pack up. At the middle school, high school level, again, we felt a student keeping it in their own locker, again, could be a tough temptation for students, and it creates situations where kids are lockers, kids are late to class, things of that. So we were recommending that we utilize district-issued individual locked pouches for students, as we've seen be successful in some other school districts on Long Island and around the country. One important exception that we had talked about, some of our students who are in good standing leave during the day for permit lunch. Anytime when a student were to leave the grounds, they would have access to their phone in the event of emergency or some reason if they were off campus. We wouldn't want a child to be off campus, have an emergency, and not have access to their device. Okay, again, so we looked at the other recommendations. We would allow the principal and the district, if there was a reason to make that authorization, but not the teachers. We didn't want to create, or we didn't want to recommend creating a situation where it changed period to period, again, where this could become a flashpoint for teachers and students if students felt some teachers were saying it was okay and others weren't for specific reasons. So we wanted to leave that decision only at the district and principal level. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, for managing a student's health care or in the event of emergency, there's a case-by-case exception built in that I don't think should come up too often across New York State, but it's for if a student is a caregiver for others, and that's something we have to work through with our school social workers and individual students. And if in fact it was something that was placed in a student's IEP or 504 plan, we recommend that the method of communication be to call the main office, and the main office would get in touch with the student. And as mentioned earlier, for on-site storage for grades pre-K through 5, if there was a device that needed to be locked during the day, there would be a cell phone or a smartphone locker in the main office. In grade 6, there would be smartphone lockers in each individual classroom. And at the middle high school level, it would be the individual pouches. We also talked about having lockers in the main office of the middle school and high school. If it does come to a part where a student is non-compliant and a phone has to be confiscated for a period of time, we want to make sure it's locked and safe. These are very valuable things, so we want to make sure that everything stays in good working order. We heard recommendations from the committee to review our email capabilities for connection outside the openschools.org domain, since we might be using more email type communications. Recommendations from one of our students, actually, about how sometimes teachers do video creation projects and they use their phones. So we had our director of technology on the committee as well. We talked about laptop cards for assignments with video creation. We talked about making iPads available as needed for any student who use it for translation or augmentative communication through our special education office, and ensuring that we have robust technology available for courses like AP Computer Science, Science Research, for any sort of assistive technology or computer-aided design. Student Wi-Fi will be recommendation that it still be available after school hours. Many of our students stay after school in the library. Again, an important piece, conversation to any students with off-campus privileges. We talked about, the kids shared with us that many times they're communicated with through their smartphones for coaches and club advisors, so making sure we have other options, whether that's parent square or any options for communication. Exploring and implementing play-based lunchtime activities. Some of our students, that is their entertainment, that is their downtime. Some of the kids share, they unwind and they relax a little bit by looking at their phone during lunch. So if they don't have that, we want to have other opportunities. So talk about games or things like that. And again, as I mentioned, with storage, making sure any phone, if it ever does need to be confiscated, is secured safely. We talked, and our school psychologist shared with us that one of the ways we can help to de-escalate is making sure we communicate early and often. So making sure students, parents, our instructional staff, teachers and TAs, but also our non-instructional staff. So aside from our committee work, Ms. Rayner had met with bargaining unit heads to talk about ways that this may or may not impact the work of their employees, so make sure everyone knows where we're heading for September. Communication strategies that we'll seek to implement are summer mailings, parent square messages, making sure things are available on the website, social media, perhaps even having students create videos, homeroom and assemblies at the start of the school year, the Yonder pouches, if the recommendation is accepted and we move in that direction. There is a curriculum and there are communication tools and signage and lessons for kids. And definitely part of our opening conference days, some de-escalation strategies for staff who have to be enforcing these new rules to make sure things go smoothly. So those are our recommendations. I would like to publicly thank the teachers, administrators, parents, students, our mental health professional who came together to make recommendations. And thank you, Dr. Yanni, thank you to the board. I think we have some really good suggestions from the committee to implement some positive steps and ways that it can be done reasonably and be off to a good start in September. If anyone has any questions?
Does the board have any questions?
No, very thorough, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Arvin. I'd like to invite to the podium Dr. Danka for the presentation regarding our senior class.
All right, good evening to the Board of Education, Dr. Yanni, Ms. Raynor, and the Oyster Bay East Norwich community. I am grateful for this opportunity to provide an update on the achievements of the members of our class of 2025. They continue to make us proud in a variety of ways, many of which you'll see in this presentation. So let's begin with our graduation update. This year, our graduation rate is 95%. While last year was a milestone reached, I am also extremely proud that the work of our administration, faculty, counselors, and staff resulted in this strong percentage. This was reached with consistent collaboration between home and school and student, with the goal of being proactive in addressing the needs of the whole child. We made countless home visits, conducted quarterly progress report and report card analysis, held consistent student review team meetings, student and parent in-person meetings, as well as student attendance reviews. And now for our college update. Once again, we are very proud of the outstanding results our students have achieved in both college and university acceptances, a small sample of which you can see here. These accomplishments are a reflection of their hard work, the dedication of our faculty, and the supportive learning environment we strive to maintain. Now, allow me to break this down for you in a little bit more detail. The climate of college admissions changes every year, with application numbers drastically increasing across the nation, as well as application deadlines being set earlier and earlier each year. As you can imagine, this can be a source of stress for students and families as the competition increases. Therefore, as you can see here, we work tirelessly to get most students to apply to the early deadlines. It's important to remember that these application types are not uniformly offered at every college. In addition, regardless of the deadline date for each application type, over 90% of our senior class had applied to at least one college or university by December 10th this past school year. And of course, another point of pride is the consistency of our students to challenge themselves with our support by applying to a variety of competitive colleges and universities, many of which are listed here. This year, our percentage of students who applied to at least one four-year college or university rose 3% through purposeful work with our counseling staff and college and university regional representatives to utilize embedded college programs to address the learning and financial needs of all students. This made each application meaningful for students as a realistic option for post-secondary education. And another point of pride lies in this statistic where we remain consistent with our percentage from last year as far as the number of students who were accepted to four-year schools. This statistic is predominantly in the control of each college admissions office, but the counselors and I did work closely to ensure that students felt comfortable enough to apply to more competitive schools as well as those most realistic to their student profile this year. And finally, we are proud to share that we remain highly competitive in the number of students applying to at least one college or university. This demonstrates our commitment to fostering a culture of continued education and preparing our students for success beyond high school. As we look ahead, we're confident that this number will continue to grow, reflecting both the aspirations of our students and the strength of our academic and counseling programs. We are excited about the future, and we remain dedicated to supporting every student on their journey towards higher education. So in summary, considering the changing landscape of college admissions, our statistics continue to be competitive as we close out this academic year. We are committed to working to continue to better these results through early exposure to the varying ways to attend college, through relationships with different schools that will meet the academic, financial, and personal needs of our students. We work to provide consistent student and family partnership on all fronts, as well as individualized planning and building the college list. I would be remiss if I didn't thank the counselors, faculty, and staff for continuing to work with me to meet the needs of all of our students. And of course, I am most grateful to you for your support and the standards you hold for our students to achieve excellence. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Does the board have any questions?
Thank you to the counseling staff and all the staff for those results. It remains great.
And thank you to you as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I'd like to have Maureen Raynor, Deputy Superintendent, to give a quick update on the bond capital improvement project.
Yes, thank you very much. There we go. All right, I'm happy to yet again give another update on our phase 3 of our 21st Century Capital Improvement Projects. We are really coming to pretty much the close of this project. To see all the work we've done over the past 4 years now has truly been amazing. So as I've been continuing to say, we are on this revised schedule, but we are still over $2 million under the budget of what the community allowed. And as a reminder, as we've been saying, we only borrow what is needed. So although the community did authorize up to about $29.9 million, we are going to borrow much less than that since our budget is about over $2 million below that. So looking at the work for phase 3, starting with the classroom space, just as a reminder, this is where the music was before our brand new music wing at Vernon. We were renovating those classrooms into more usable space now that music has their own permanent home in front of the building. It's going to create a brand new classroom space, a small group instruction, and then another AIS space just to the bottom of this plan you see here. So just to give you a few picture updates, again, I had shared this both in December, and I believe again in February. These pictures are all posted on the website, not only on tonight's agenda, but on the 21st Century Capital Improvement Projects, so for people to go back and look through these. Right now it is fenced off, so the students still have full use of the classroom and field space, as the work is protected inside the construction fence. Inside the buildings, just to show you a couple as we've gone through the progress, this is as they started demolition. You can see there's a big open space for music. They are slowly pulling all of that out, reframing it back up for the new spaces. Here you can see the new walls going up, and now we have a sheetrock wall. As we look forward, it is now what looks like a brand new space with brand new casework in the back of it. Still a few more final touches, but those openings in the back will be windows to allow more fresh natural light into the space. But again, all the casework and walls and painting have all been completed. In addition to this area as well, you can see they're just putting some final touches on it. This is the hallway that leads into those two areas. Moving forward to the athletic complex, which probably is the biggest change in phase 3 we have here. The athletic complex is what we've been referring to as the Butler building, which is simply just the manufacturer of the building. This will be now an athletic space that is completely turned back into space for students. Before this construction started, it was 2/3 of what we refer to as the Butler building, and 1/3 of it had a bay door with some storage area. This is the overall plan where you can see not only is the athletic complex going to be renovated, but the outside space of that entranceway into our back fields will also have an update with a small turf area and just a single basketball hoop. This is what it looked like before the construction, and as I go through, you can see the brickwork is coming up along the sides. They've removed the windows, getting it measured out for the new windows, which will be here very, very shortly. But that is what it's going to look like when it is done. I'll show you in just a minute some pictures where that stonework is already installed. This is looking further to the back of the building. The taller building in the back does remain. That is ground storage areas, so that will remain there. It's the front building here that's renovated. This is the messy stage of construction as you see it now. Again, this is what will look like after that all gets cleaned up and the windows get installed. That outdoor turf area, the doors that open up into that space to then have hopscotch and basketball hoop for the students to use outside as well. Towards the back, as you enter the fields, you can see again right now it has been used a little bit for storage. You see 2 big pillars going up there, which will now have beautiful signage. So as our athletes are approaching our back, our baseball field, our softball field, our lacrosse field, the tracks will all have this beautiful entrance as they walk into our athletic spaces now. Moving inside, you can see this is where it looks clearly needed for some updating and renovation. This was a whole storage area that was in there. As we move forward to the demolition, that wall has been taken down, and you can clearly see the size of the building really opening up for student space. Some of the installation of the plywood is going up for the gym pad along the walls. Some of the ductwork is going through for the air conditioning for that space will now be. You can see they've been insulating the walls as well, and that's what the final product will look like, with again big open glass with double set of doors walking to the outside space. Looking back in the other way, it will also have a screen for projection for again a multi-purpose use space, not just for athletics. So again, a quick update. I really look forward to next September showing you some more final pictures of the space as we turn it back over to our building in community of Vernon. Thank you very much.
Ms. Rayner, is the bond sale a public information at this point for the
bond
industry?
sale went out publicly last week, and it did close. We came in slightly under what we had projected for. So we were projecting somewhere between 3 and 4%, 3.5%, maybe 3.6%. We came in about 3.4%. We are very happy to say that Moody's did come back and to an update with us. As you go out for bond, you have to get an updated rating. We have still maintained our AA1 status, which makes it highly competitive. We had 12, Mr. Piper, thank you. We had 12 strong bidders on our district, which, as our financial advisor said, was really great. I think that's what gave us the rating, the interest rate that we did, because we had so many financial institutions interested. So we are on target as we had planned at the close of the work. Like I said, 3.4 that was the interest rate, and the debt service, as we said, was one of the driving forces of this to make sure that means consistent for the tax cap for the community. It is about 2.1%, $2.1 million over the 15 years of our bond.
Yeah, and thank you so much for the hard work of the business office, because I will say that, you know, when Moody's comes in and they determine, you know, your rating, which definitely is really the best on Long Island, AA1, you know, that's a stellar rating, and it's really our reserves and the diligence of our business office, and our financial statements, and being very budget conscious, that really gets us that rating. So thank you very much for all your hard work, and thanks Zach for all his hard work on that, and Dr. Young.
So phase 3 will be completed by September,
Before September, yeah. It will hopefully be doing punch list and close-up items throughout the month of June. So the space will be turned over to the Vernon staff to be able to then final touches of cleaning, and be ready to go for September with time to spare.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reardon.
So at this point, I'd like to provide an update regarding our elementary staffing for the upcoming school year, specifically concerning our incoming first grade and third grade class. As you know, we continuously monitor enrollment to ensure our class sections are structured to provide the best possible learning environment for our students. So I put a presentation together, but after a review of this update, I have so after the review of its update, I'm recommending a change for our incoming first graders. I recommended that we increase from 4 section to 5 section for grade 1, which is remained consistent with the other classes. By adding a 5th section, we can ensure smaller class sizes, which is crucial for our youngest learners. In the 3rd grade, I'm recommending that we maintain our original plan of 4 section. The projected enrollment for this grade level allows us to maintain the appropriate class size, and it's consistent with the guidelines that we have in the Board of Education policy. And I also wanted to reassure the community that our plan is to continue to have the integration of the self-contained classes with their mainstream students, fostering an inclusive and supporting environment. So at this point, we had discussed during the budget that we were talking about reducing to 4 section, reduce 4 section both of them, but I think it's necessary at this point with the enrollment for the first grade to go to 5 section. I don't know if the board has any questions. Okay, and the last piece that I have for tonight is also want to address the shuttle, the Vernon shuttle bus. The issue was brought up last September to the board via email. The shuttle transports students from Vernon to Roosevelt at dismissal to assist families that have children in both schools. It became clear that many parents were not aware of the shuttle, and it was only after our review was confirmed that this service was historically provided to only to parents who requested it, with a cap of 10 students. So planning for the 25-26 school year, I'd like to share with the board several options. Option 1 would be to provide a shuttle to all the students and all the families that have students in both Vernon and Roosevelt. We have about 134 students, and that would be a cost of approximately $300,000. The second option is to eliminate the shuttle and allow the school monitor coverage at Roosevelt for the students, for the parents that have a delayed pickup if they decide to pick up and not use the bus that we have for every student. And then the option 3 would be to limit to 1 bus, and that would necessitate a lottery system. My recommendation to the board at this point is to go with option 2, which is the option that will save approximately $33,000 and would allow parents to pick up And even if there is a delay, students will be at the school, they will not go anywhere. Obviously, the parents will have time to pick up at Vernon and then go to pick up at Roosevelt. That would be my recommendation at this point. So I don't know if the board has any questions.
So what is the cost of that option?
Option 2 would be a saving of $33,000 because we will eliminate that. We will have just a bus.
Okay, but it won't be any additional cost?
No, it will be a reduction.
But is there any cost to having like the monitors? Because Ms.
That's in
Cassidy,
place right now.
yeah, and she brought up a great point, like, we had that shuttle prior to universal busing.
Yeah.
That was the purpose of it, but now that everybody gets bused,
Everybody, yeah,
it makes more sense if people just put their kids on the bus.
that's correct.
So this was for the parents who found it difficult in timing to release the kids. Okay, if they, some of those, they did put their kids on, but now they put their kids on the bus.
Yes.
It was actually because they couldn't put their kid on the bus. They would have been the bus out to get them while they were at the second school. Because at that time, like,
Do you want to come up and yeah, you can sign and then we'll have time to discuss. Okay.
If I recall, this was actually created not just because of universal busing or having to pick up at both locations. It was because you had to pick up at one and you put your kid on the bus at the other one. You couldn't be at your bus stop and at the second school that you got out later because of the staffing stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense, because maybe you had busing to one school but not the other.
Exactly.
But
Which
now
took
we have
forever.
universal busing, so it's
So now it's
not
It had
as.
nothing to do with universal. It
No,
had
no,
to do
now that we have universal,
Yeah, but,
you don't have to pick up now.
right. But they do pick up. I'm just helping.
Thank you so much.
Okay. That's the.
No, we can say on here.
Okay, let's move on to the approval of minutes. Motion to approve the meeting minutes is listed and attached below. Second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Let's move on to opportunity for the public to be heard on agenda items. In accordance with the open meetings law, the school board meetings where school district business will be discussed are open to the public. The Oyster Bay East Norwich Board of Education welcomes public comment at its meetings. The Board of Education will respond to comments and inquiries in the appropriate manner. This portion of the meeting is designed exclusively for agenda items. A sign-in book is provided for those residents wishing to address the board. In order to be recognized, you must be signed in. Each speaker will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes. The board president will call you to the microphone in the order in which you have signed in. Public discussion is prohibited regarding matters relating to an individual's reputation, privacy, or the right to due process, which in some way could be violated. A second commentary period is provided for non-agenda items prior to adjournment. We thank you for your participation and cooperation. Anybody sign in? Ms. Longo?
So I have 4 questions, 4 different topics. First topic is bond. So you say within the bond cap on what we were told when we voted for $30 million, which was under 2.5%. You're at 4%. It was presented to the community that this bond with this expansion would cost the community no additional money. What is our taxes going up now with a 4% bond? Your floating bonds at 4% as opposed to under 2%? Then, so I'd like to know, as you told the community when we voted for it 4 years ago, that would cost us nothing, that we would be replacing debt. Now we're replacing debt at a higher cost. So I think we as a community should know what that's going to cost us in the future. So that's number 1.
You want to ask any of them?
Well, I do because I only get 3 minutes. So unless you can stop the clock while you answer them, it's up to you. You can stop the clock.
So, when I presented a bond, at the time I presented, the main point of that was to maintain the debt service at $2.2 million, and that's where we're going to keep it. It's not at 4%. We just bought the bond at 3%. pretty much standing, that the debt service at that time where the other bond was expiring was 2 point and change, and we keep in the same debt service.
So you're taking, so what your statement is $28 million, we're at $2.1 million at 4% in debt service for the
So
entire cost.
So right now, and again, I'm just answering your question. Right now, first of all, it's not 4%, it's less than 4%.
It was
3.4%.
Okay, 3.4, I stand corrected.
Yeah, so 3.4%, and the other thing is, we're not bonding 28 million, we're bonding how much? Under 25,
Excuse me?
under 25,
$125 million.
Under 20.
under 25.
Less than 25.
So now we're down to 25 million that we're doing, because why? Where's the other 3 million coming from?
So the work that we did, the way we structured this payment, we structured to maintain the 2.1 debt service. So when I look at the bond payment, we had keeping the 2.2. At the beginning, what we had bands for $2 million, which we did most principal interest payment, and then we had the rest that we bonded. So we are $2 million under budget. So we are to 25 and the 2 at 27.
So, but at the end of the day, I guess my question is, we are borrowing $28 million, whether you banned it 4 years ago.
Masando, we're not borrowing 20, we're bonding how much? Under 25. We did 2 million in we were approved for 29.
Right. And you
Okay?
said
I'm giving you numbers because that's what I remember,
Right.
right? I would be more than happy to go down and show you line by line. But what I'm telling you right now is that I have 29 million approved. I am under 2 million. I saved, I didn't spend 2 million, so I'm left with 27. I did bands over the past few years, and now I'm bonding 25.
How much did the bands cost us? Bands or bonds, it still costs taxpayers. We're not paying, we have to pay for this money. Whether you call them bands, or whether you call them bonds.
I'm not answering, I don't have all the answers
Why
right now.
don't you put it, right, why don't you answer a question, we'll put it right in there.
So the bands, how much were the bands? What
So, yeah,
percentage
so
of
at
that?
the end of the day, all I'm asking, you don't
I'm
have to
saving $2
answer.
million. Okay.
So you don't have to answer it now. All I'm asking is that 4 years ago, the community was told that we would bond $29 million. Thank God we did 27 because it went up. We did $27 million, and it would cost the taxpayers no additional money because we were gonna stay at the 2.1%, $2.1 million in bond services.
Which we are staying at that point.
Okay, I'm just asking, across the 4 years between the bands and the bonds, it's still, the question is, it's still not costing the community any more money in interest payments or additional taxes for this, because we're still at the same 2.1. Just
All across, because the bands, we did it on the $2 million.
I get it. We still have to pay for it. So I'm just asking the question that I think the community deserves to know, number one. Number two, I think it's great that we're doing the science and all that other. So currently we have people in guidance that will act as supervisors and advisors to these children who are gonna enter into these competitions, because I understand it's quite grueling, or do we have to add more headcount to do that? Guidance for the Atlantis that we're bringing up to the high school.
Yeah.
I know that for years, the community has been asking for that. So, I think it's great. We have people in who could commit to that.
So we have the humanities courses, and one of them, it will be focusing on
Supervisor.
Atlantis, not supervisor, the teacher.
Advisor.
Yeah, teacher.
Okay, we'll help these kids if they want to go into the science and
So the science research tonight, we'll appoint a teacher, which is also is going to be a science research one class, and we selected as Atlantis 7 research.
When are you voting on the $300,000 busing, if you are or aren't, between the two schools?
I think the board was in support of my recommendation, so we are just not adding a shuttle to every student.
Oh, okay. And then lastly, you know that I understand that the first graders want, that we're gonna increase that to 5. You are under board policy of 18 kids per, and so per class.
I think the board policy, I will
Is 20.
just look it up 1 second. We have the first grade. Board policy is 20 to 26, but historically has been lower than 20 to 26. Yes, you're correct, we're under policy.
And so we have just a spare classroom down there to do that?
Yes, and the only problem with first grade was that if we would bring it to four section, we keep it at 4 section, which what we originally had planned, the number would be across the board would be a little higher compared to the kindergarten and the second grade.
And when you're looking at 20 kids or under 20 children, you're looking at just in the regular class, not pushing.
Some of them will be pushing it.
So
Those numbers will go up a little bit in some of the
they will
classes.
go up when the
For
pushing.
specials only.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it's not, that number does not include the pushing amount.
For
It's
the
minus
specials
the pushing
only.
amount?
For the specials only.
No, I'm asking is the number of 5 kids, those children that you've got, or is that minus the pushing? Or is that including pushing?
No, that number, those are classes, and then they're gonna be pushing.
No, I get that, but so those numbers are minus the pushing.
Yes. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to approval of instructional personnel items. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Oyster Bay East Norwich Central School District hereby approves the instructional personnel items as listed in their entirety. Do I have a motion? Second. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
At this point, I'd like to congratulate Dan Moy as our new science research. And Anika Bertram as a new science teacher. So congratulations to you and your family. You've been very patient, waiting all night. I was going to congratulate you early, but I waited. Thank you.
Let's move on to approval of business items. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Oyster Bay East Norwich Central School District hereby approves the business items as listed in their entirety. Do I have a motion? Second? Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Let's move on to special services. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Oyster Bay East Norwich Central School District hereby approves the special services resolution as listed in their entirety. Do I have a motion? Second? Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Approval of new business resolutions. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Oyster Bay East Norwich Central School District hereby approves the new business resolutions as listed in their entirety. Do I have a motion? Second? Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Items for discussion, transportation update. Did we do that already?
Yeah, we did. I don't know if the board has any questions on the bus, but I think the option 2 was the option to go with.
That's the option too.
Thank you.
Opportunity for the public to be heard on non-agenda items? Does anybody want?
Not yet, civil service didn't get back to us.
So what happens, we have one groundkeeper on June
Yeah, we'll
30th?
figure out July 1st.
Excuse
How
me?
many times have you contacted civil service?
Several times, email, contact, so
So the board's,
They can wait for as long as they want to get back to us?
we're waiting.
so the board's thing is on June 30th, we have one groundskeeper? That's what we're doing? Just to clarify that, because civil service could take months to get back to you.
Civil service can take months to get back to us?
Months.
Well, they have to come up with a plan.
Come up with a plan.
Right, so make sure that when you come up with that plan, it's public at the next public meeting, which is after June 30th.
Mr. Cronin?
Good evening. So there's a lot of posts going around, I'm just trying to read through them. Does the district follow Robert's Rules of Order? Question, yeah, it's a question.
Robert's rule is just a guide, but,
Okay.
you know,
Does the district follow it or not?
it's just a guide, yeah, we're fine.
All right. Does the district have a civil service or an appointed director of facilities?
Civil service appointed,
Civil service or it's an appointed spot from the board of director of facilities?
no, we don't have a director of facility.
Okay. And under the restructuring, if I remember correctly, it's gonna be one, civil service grounds crew person per school, correct?
Feel like I don't understand. Yes, correct. Is one grounds per school.
I was on the stand for 20 years.
Okay, that's good. That wasn't.
So I got
I
beat up
went for a
by the
superintendent's
best
job.
attorneys there.
I went
So-
for a superintendent's job.
Okay.
I didn't know.
So,
I was gonna go in there.
with that, I believe you said that the head custodian is gonna be in charge of that. Is that what was said that night at the meeting?
We will have one groundskeeper,
Mhm.
which we're still waiting for the civil service.
Mhm.
We're waiting for the groundskeeper to be assigned to each school.
Right, but my question is, I believe you stated that the head custodian is now gonna be in charge of that.
Oh, we'll see what civil service will have to say.
So you didn't say that, is what I'm asking you. I believe you said that that's
I
what's
put
gonna
it
be in
under
charge.
the presentation, which is posted online, I know, which is posted online. The idea was to have a groundskeeper, a custodian, and a principal assigned to each school, similar structure to what we have for the curriculum associate and everything. Now, if you're asking me right now, is the groundskeeper reporting to the hack custodian? Is the groundskeeper reporting to the deputy superintendent? Is the groundskeeper reporting to the principal? I don't have the answer to your question.
Well, that's right now, but I thought under your restructuring, that's how you presented it, that.
I presented that each school would be his own entity.
So who's gonna be in charge of?
I'll,
Okay, so I'll take it a little further then. So if the head custodian is gonna be in charge of it, so I'm pretty sure that's what you said. Is that allowable by civil service? Because that is a head custodian. And if it is allowable, is the head custodian gonna get compensated for another thing he's responsible for? You're already responsible for the cleaners, the custodians, and now you're gonna give them the grounds crew per thing. Are they gonna be compensated for another responsibility? Worrying about the inside of the building, and now they have to worry about the outside of the building.
now the groundskeeper is allowed to maintain the outside of the
And
building.
he's just free willing, just does what he wants. Does what he's saying.
Just cutting the grass, yeah.
Okay. Sounds like a great idea.
Thank you.
So basically, I'm clarify that on what I'm hearing is there's nothing you guys can do moving forward into the year from Nassau County Civil Service on who to hire, how to hire.
I can't believe it.
What
I
to
cannot
do.
believe that the civil service does that you cannot get an answer from them.
No, it's not that. Civil service is a huge entity that,
Right, I
that
know.
covers a tremendous amount of things
all,
hire somebody as they tell you to hire them.
first of all, we don't have 56.
Whatever.
Okay, but you're bringing up,
Well, okay,
you're
so
bringing
how
up
many,
numbers.
how many acres
So
do you
bring
have?
the numbers down, don't bring the numbers up, you bring every number up.
How many
What
acres
we-
do we have?
We posted on the presentation, they're not 56, number one, and number two, we've been working with civil service. If civil service does not have a plan, July 1st, I will make sure that the board has a plan in place that will maintain the facility. I think at this point, I have proven myself to be here and support the students and the facility, and I will not leave this place just the grass just to grow wild, just because I don't have a plan, I don't have an approval for civil service. I will come up with a plan, just like I come up with a plan for everything.
Follow civil services guidance, or we would be.
Yeah, obviously the plan that I have to come up with is gonna be according to civil service. I'm not gonna come up with a plan that is out of the blue. I will follow civil service law. I will do whatever I can to make sure that I have an answer. And if I don't have an answer, I will come up with a plan with the resource that I have. When did I, in my past 5 years that I've been in this district, I left this place unattended in any form or shape? I think I would never do that. So.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting and we have to go back into executive to discuss personnel?
So.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, everyone.